Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and you are watching another web guy YouTube channel, and welcome to another video of CSS Tutorial Series. And in this video, we are going to talk about CSS Flexbox. Flexbox is a very powerful feature of CSS which allows us to create responsive and robust layout structures. Watch this video till the end and I bet you will never have any doubt in CSS Flexbox ever again in life. So let's roll the intro and get started. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell icon so that you don't miss any of our videos. To use the CSS Flexbox model, the first thing you require is to define a flex container. Inside the flex container, we'll have flex items. These flex container and flex items have different individual properties. Let's see each of them. First, let's create a parent div with a class of flex container. Inside this, we will create 8 more divs which will act as our flex items. I'll label them for ease of understanding. Now let's go on to our CSS file and give the margin and padding to 0 and set the box sizing to border box. Now let's give the box class a border and a width so that it's easily identifiable. Also, I'm going to increase the font size so that you can see it better. This is very basic. I have not used any flexbox here. Now, to use the flexbox model, we'll take our flex container class and add display flex, and you can see all our flex items are arranged in a horizontal manner. This is the absolute basic of using a flex box. Now we'll give the flex container some height and see how the flex items adjust their height accordingly. Now the first property which the flex container takes is flex direction. The flex direction property defines in which direction the container wants to stack the flex items. It is row by default, but you can change it to column or row reverse or column reverse. Next, we have the flex wrap property. The flex wrap property specifies whether the flex items should wrap or not. Here you can see that even though we have defined the width of the box class as 100 pixels, but it has been shrunk to accommodate all the 8 boxes in one line, because the flex wrap property is no wrap by default. Let's change it to wrap. And you can see how the flex items have wrapped and came to the specified size. You can also do wrap reverse, which will wrap the flexible items in reverse order. Next, we have the flex flow property, and it is a shorthand property for setting the flex direction and the flex wrap. Next, we have the justify content property. To understand this, let's comment out some of these boxes. We will also define a height for our box class, and we'll set a background color for our flex container class. Now you can divide the flex container into 2 axes, the horizontal axis or the main axis and the vertical axis or the cross axis. The justify content property is responsible for aligning the flex items on the horizontal or the main axis. So if we write justify content center, then our flex items will be aligned in the horizontal center of the flex container. The default value for justify content is flex start. It can also take other values like flex end, space between, space around and space evenly. Next, we have align items. The align items property is used to align the flex items on the vertical or the cross axis. So if we do align items center, our flex items will be aligned in the vertical center of the flex container. To understand better, we'll remove the height property from the box class or our flex items. Now you can see how the flex items are aligned in the middle of the container. We can also do flex start or flex end. The default value for align items is stretch. The align items property can also take a value baseline. The baseline value aligns the flex items such that their baseline aligns. To understand this, let's change the font size of our flex items. You can see that the baseline of all the three numbers are in the same line. Next, we have the align content property. The align content property is used to align the flex lines. To understand this, let's uncomment our boxes. Also, we'll allow the wrapping of our flex items. As you can see here, the flex lines have been aligned to the center of the flex box. Here also, you can do flex start, flex end, space around or space between. The default value is stretch. We saw all the major properties of the flex container. Now we'll see the properties of the individual flex items. To demonstrate that, let's comment out some of our boxes. And we'll also delete the font size property from the individual boxes. First, we have the order property. The order property specifies the order of flex items. You can change the order of the flex items by changing their order value. The flex items are placed in ascending order of their order value. The default order value for each flex item is 0. Next, we have the flex grow property. It defines the ability for a flex item to grow if necessary. It tells how much a flex item will grow relative to the rest of the flex items. To understand this, let's reduce the number of boxes to 3. Now if all the items have flex grow set to 1 and we change one of the item's value to 2, then that item would take up twice as much space as others. The default value for flex grow is 0. Next, we have the flex shrink property. The flex shrink property specifies how much a flex item will shrink relative to the rest of the flex items. The default value for this is 1. To demonstrate this example, we will uncomment all our boxes and we'll also comment out this flex flow. So here you can see that the box 1 has shrunk 2 times and the box 2 has shrunk 4 times, whereas the box 3 is non-shrinkable. That means it has the original width of 100 pixels. Next, we have the flex basis property. The flex basis property specifies the initial length of the flex item. Next, we have the flex property. Flex property is a shorthand for flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis properties. Next, we have the align self property. The align self property specifies the alignment for the selected flex item on the vertical or the cross axis. The align self property overrides the default alignment set by the container's align items property. We can set the align self property to center or flex start or flex end. So this was all about CSS Flexbox and its properties. We'll also cover the practical usage of CSS Flexbox in making responsive website layouts in my upcoming videos. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching the video. Please hit the like button if you learned something. If you're new here, consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.